They say we are the product of chance, that over billions of years, random mutations, tiny, accidental changes in DNA, somehow gave birth to intelligence, reason, language, consciousness. Sounds incredible? That's because it is. Think about it. Random mutations are, by definition, unplanned and unguided. They don't have a goal, a purpose, or a direction. Yet somehow, evolutionists want us to believe that these aimless genetic accidents produce the most purposeful thing in the known universe, the human mind. Let's pause here. We're not talking about a slightly improved feather or a longer beak. We're talking about intelligence, the ability to think, reflect, imagine, love, calculate, invent, feel guilt, write poetry, explore the stars, and ask, why am I here? Random mutations don't know anything. They can't plan. They don't say, let's add memory capacity to this brain. So how did blind, purposeless processes engineer something more advanced than any supercomputer? The typical answer is, natural selection did the rest. But let's be honest. Selection can only select from what already exists. If a mutation doesn't result in something useful right away, it's discarded. So how do you gradually build something as complex as logic, without logic? Imagine a monkey randomly typing on a keyboard. How long would it take before he accidentally writes a Shakespearean sonnet? Now multiply that by 1 trillion. And ask yourself if intelligence could emerge from noise. This is the problem. The theory of evolution cloaks itself in scientific terms, but at its core lies an irrational belief. That chaos gave rise to order. That randomness gave birth to consciousness. That nothingness became self-aware. Let's not confuse complexity with creativity. A snowflake is complex. A sand dune is intricate. But do they write symphonies? Build cities? Understand justice? Even the simplest form of intelligence requires foresight, planning ahead. Yet evolution has no foresight. It cannot see the future. It cannot aim for consciousness. It cannot even know what it's doing. So why do some still cling to this idea? Because the alternative is uncomfortable. If intelligence wasn't the product of chance, it must be the result of design, and design implies a designer. Now let's zoom into the cell. DNA, that famed molecule of life, is a storage device, like a hard drive, coated with information. But where there is information, there must be intent. You've never seen a meaningful sentence appear without an author. So why believe DNA wrote itself? Even Richard Dawkins, a leading atheist biologist, admits that the complexity of life gives the overwhelming appearance of design. But he insists, it only looks designed. Why? Because he has already ruled out a designer before looking at the evidence. This is not science, this is dogma. It's a belief system dressed up in lab coats. And the saddest part? Millions are taught to accept it without question. Not because it makes sense, but because it's the only option they're given. But we must ask, can the meaningless birth the meaningful? Can the blind give sight? Can randomness produce reason? The Quran answers this question with clarity. Were they created by nothing, or were they the creators of themselves? Surah At-Tur 52:35. This one verse shatters the illusion of accidental creation. Because either we were made by nothing, which is absurd, or we made ourselves, which is impossible. The only remaining answer is, we were created. Intentionally. Let's dig deeper. Intelligence is not a single switch you turn on. It's a system, a symphony of interconnected parts. Memory, perception, emotion, logic, language, self-awareness. All of it working together, all at once. If even one part is missing, the whole system collapses. So how could random mutations build each of these elements separately, and yet still make them compatible? This is what scientists call irreducible complexity. You can't evolve a bicycle one screw at a time and ride it halfway through. It has to work together, or not at all. So how could intelligence, far more complex, arise piece by piece? The evolutionist might say, it took millions of years. But time is not a magical creator. Leaving a pile of scrap metal outside for 1,000,000 years won't turn it into a laptop. Decay is more likely than design. They might also argue, well, we're here, aren't we? That proves evolution worked. But that's circular reasoning. That's like saying, rain must have painted the Mona Lisa. How else do you explain the painting on the wall? Here's a truth you won't hear in biology class. Information does not come from matter. Ink doesn't create the message. The message comes from a mind. So when we see DNA, the most information-dense code in the known universe, we're not looking at randomness. We're looking at intent. Even a single cell is like a miniature city. Power plants, transportation systems, security gates, communication lines. But where's the mayor? Who is directing it? Who gave it the instructions to function? Master Sayyid Nursi, may Allah have mercy on him. The author of the Qur'anic commentary, the Risale-i, said, "Coincidence can never form a system. Just as letters cannot arrange themselves into a book, atoms cannot form a meaningful life without will and wisdom behind them." Subhanallah. One line, and the veil is lifted. Let's be real. Randomness may cause disruption, but it cannot create purpose. It may cause error, but not ethics. It may generate noise, but never meaning. So the question is no longer, can random mutations create intelligence? But rather, how long will we keep pretending they can? Because deep down, we all know the truth. Even the atheist, when he speaks of love, justice, truth, he borrows from a world of meaning that chance could never explain. The universe is whispering, shouting, echoing with design. From the harmony of the stars to the thoughts in your mind, everything is crying out, you were created for a reason. So no, random mutations did not give you intelligence. They could never. But the one who gave intelligence did so with wisdom, mercy, and purpose. Not blindly, not accidentally, but perfectly. As the Quran says, indeed, we created man in the best of stature. You are not a biological accident. You are a masterpiece, crafted with knowledge and intention. So next time you hear, you're just the product of random mutations, pause and respond, no. Intelligence is not born from chaos. It's a reflection of the one who shaped every atom with purpose.